This is the story set during World War II, after the war had ended and the Soviet Union had taken all German soldiers as prisoners. At the beginning of the movie, we see a prison camp in Siberia where many German soldiers are being held captive. These prisoners are made to do forced labor. One of them is a man named Clemens Forel, who has been sentenced to 25 years in this camp, which means 25 years of hard labor in the freezing Siberian wilderness. Clemens desperately wants to escape. He dreams of returning to Germany to reunite with his wife and daughter. The camp isn't extremely heavily guarded because escaping from there is considered certain death. The region is surrounded by deadly cold and endless snow. Even if someone manages to get out, they would freeze to death before getting anywhere. But Clemens doesn't care. He is determined to escape no matter the consequences. One night, he gets the chance. He hides inside a coal wagon and sneaks out of the camp. As the train moves forward, he looks up at the sky and smiles, feeling joy seeing the stars again. Immediately taken back to the camp and thrown into a small underground cell. It's freezing cold in there, and on top of that, it's raining. Isn't given any food either, yet he somehow survives this torture. 3 days later, the warden lets him out and says, "Your fellow inmates are waiting for you." When he returns to them, they are furious. Because of his escape attempt, none of them received food for the past 3 days. Angry, they all beat Clemens badly, leaving him severely injured. A doctor, who is also one of the prisoners, comes to treat Clemens. Clemens tells him, "I don't want to die here. I want to go back to my wife and daughter in Germany." The doctor replies, "Escaping from here is impossible. Even if you manage to escape, the cold will kill you. But the truth is, if you stay here, you'll die anyway, slowly, causing a deadly disease that no one survives." The doctor himself is already sick and dying. He tells Clemens, "You must escape." Then he gives Clemens his warm clothes, tells him where food is hidden along the railway line, gives him his boots, and even a gun. The doctor had once planned to escape himself, but now that he's close to death, there's no point. So he hands all his escape supplies to Clemens. He also gives him his lunchbox and says, "If you survive and make it out, please give this to my family and tell them I'm no longer in this world." That same night, a snowstorm hits, and Clemens uses the chaos as cover to escape once again. The next morning, the warden finds out and rushes to the doctor, but he's already dead. Furious that Clemens has escaped again, he sends his soldiers to search for him, but no one finds any trace. Everyone assumes Clemens is dead, frozen somewhere in the wilderness. But the warden isn't convinced. He strongly believes Clemens is still alive, and so the search continues. Meanwhile, we see Clemens struggling to survive the deadly snowstorm, slowly but steadily moving forward. It has now been 9 days since he began walking in the snow. Suddenly, he hears dogs barking. When he turns around, he sees a sled coming toward him. He collapses to the ground, and the sled runs over him. Then suddenly, he wakes up. It was just a nightmare. Snow. Would you like me to continue this story or summarize the remaining part of the film? Here is the English translation of the second part of the story. Clemens is now completely exhausted. His food is finished and he's hungry and thirsty. He collapses on the ground and falls unconscious. After a while, he regains consciousness. He hears a sound. As he opens his eyes, he sees a seal in front of him. He quickly pulls out his gun and fires, but the bullet misses. The seal starts running away. Clemens chases it, and just as it is about to disappear behind an ice cliff, he takes aim one last time and fires his final bullet. This time, he hits the target. The seal dies. This means Clemens now has food. After many days, he gets to eat a full meal. He rests for a while, then starts his journey again. He has a compass, To help him navigate and to keep his mind sharp, he constantly talks to himself. He's been walking continuously for 2 months. One day he sees a dry tree ahead of him. This gives him hope. It's the first sign in months that he's no longer in the Arctic ice fields. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the warden, who is still determined to find Clemens. He orders his soldiers, search within a 500-meter radius. No matter what, bring him back. I'm sure he's still alive. Back to Clemens. He has now reached a forest. All the trees are dried out. Suddenly, a snowstorm hits, and the trees begin to fall. One of the trees falls directly on Clemens. Luckily, his fate saves him. 2 men who are out searching for the gold find him buried and unconscious. They rescue him and take care of him. By this time, the snow has started melting and rivers are flowing again. The 3 of them build a wooden raft and begin their journey on it across a lake. Suddenly, the river current strengthens, and one of Clemens' companions falls into the water. Without thinking about his own safety, Clemens jumps in and saves him, bringing him safely to the shore. But the 3rd man continues on the raft alone. Later, that 3rd man reaches a place where he had once stayed with his wife. He also has small gold nuggets that he collected during their expedition in the snowy forest. Greed takes over his mind. He thinks, my partner must be dead now. The gold is all mine. But shortly after, Clemens and the rescued companion arrive there. The man whose life Clemens saved now realizes that the 3rd man had betrayed them. He had deliberately left them behind. Furious, he shoots him dead. Clemens and the remaining man move on, but the journey is still far from over. They keep walking endlessly, and months pass. Once again, they enter snow-covered regions. Clemens notices that his friend is extremely tired, so he offers to carry his baguine for a while. But his friend gets suspicious, thinking Clemens is trying to steal his gold. In anger, he attacks Clemens with the bag, causing Clemens to fall off a steep slope and lose consciousness. Sometime later, he is awakened by the howling of wolves. He sees a pack of wolves approaching to make him their prey. He quickly climbs up a tree, but one of the wolves grabs his leg. The tree is thin and mine snaps due to the weight. Just as the wolves are about to attack him, gunshots can ring out. Some local villagers gathered nearby shoot the wolves and one save Clemens. They take him to their village. When Clemens regains consciousness, he sees himself lying in a small village home. He is overjoyed to realize he is finally among humans again, safe and alive. Would you like me to continue the final part of the story as well? Here is the English translation of the final part of the story. But just then, a message from the Soviet army reaches the local villagers. The message warns that a German soldier has escaped from one of their prison camps. It states clearly that anyone found sheltering him will be executed. After hearing this, the villagers tell Clemens that he must leave. His presence puts them in danger. However, they generously give him a lot of food for the journey and even give him a dog so that he would have a companion on the road. Clemens, along with his dog, continues walking for an entire year. One day, he reaches a place where many mill workers are working. His dog runs towards them, and Clemens follows to bring the dog back. The workers recognize Clemens and take him to their mill owner. Clemens tells the owner his entire story. Moved by his determination and suffering, the owner takes pity on him and helps him board a train that could take him farther west, potentially all the way to West Germany, back to his family. Clemens is filled with hope and joy, imagining that he'll finally be reunited with his wife and daughter. But during the journey, the train stops at a station and Clemens sees it is surrounded by Soviet soldiers. He immediately realizes the pub mill owner and workers have betrayed him. They had informed the warden about the train in advance. The main warden is waiting at the station to capture Clemens, but before the warden can reach him, Clemens jumps off the train with his dog and runs. The Soviet soldiers begin to chase him. Suddenly, Clemens sees the warden standing directly in front of him, ready to arrest him, but before the warden can act, Clemens's gun dog jumps at him and attacks. Taking advantage of the distraction, Clemens escapes once again. As he runs, he hears gunshots and behind him, he realizes his dog has been shot and killed. Clemens is heartbroken, but he can't stop. He keeps running. The Soviet soldiers chase him, but Clemens reaches a bridge. Just in time, a train is passing below, and he jumps onto it, narrowly escaping once again. He travels for many more months, starving and exhausted. Eventually he arrives at a fair or market, where people are enjoying delicious food. But Clemens has no money. He sees two girls selling chilled pancakes. He looks at them but begins to walk away, knowing he can't buy anything. One of the girls, seeing his condition, feels a pity for him. She gives a piece of pancakes to a little child and asks him to give it to Clemens. Clemens eats the pancake and is deeply moved. By now, he has reached Central Asia, one step closer to his goal. Let me know if you'd like a short summary of the entire story or if you're looking for the name of the movie. Here's the English translation of the final part of the story. At this point, an Polish Jewish man sees Clemens and becomes suspicious of him. He secretly follows Clemens, who enters a church and begins to pray. The Jewish man then approaches him and says, "Don't worry, I was once a prisoner too. I'll help you." Finally sees himself in his true form, again, as the man he once was. The Jewish man makes him a fake passport and tells him, "You can go home now." Clemens becomes very emotional. He travels to the Iranian border, shows his passport, and is allowed to cross the border. He is overjoyed, knowing that now he can finally return home to his family. As he walks across the bridge, a bright light suddenly hits his eyes. The next moment, he sees Warden standing in front of him. Clemens looks behind and realizes he's still on Soviet soil. That means Warden still has the authority to arrest him. Seeing this, Clemens feels shattered. His 7 years of struggle seem wasted. He had escaped the Soviet prison 7 years ago, and just as he was about to reach home, Warden caught him. But then, Warden steps aside. Clemens can't believe it. He walks forward slowly, expecting to be stopped, but Warden doesn't stop him. In truth, Warden feels defeated. He had sworn 7 years ago to capture Clemens no matter what, and now, technically, he found him. So in his own way, Warden feels like he's won, but Clemens has truly won because Warden lets him go. After this, Clemens finally reaches West Germany, to his home. It's Christmas Day. He sees his wife and daughter leaving the house, headed for church. He quietly follows them and enters the church, where his daughter spots him. She recognizes her father. and runs to hug him. And in this way, after so many years, Clemens is reunited with his family. This is where the movie ends. Let me know if you'd like the summary of the full story or the name of the movie, which is based on a true story.